It's been a long time since I have done one of these commander builds. Uh, I guess because the guild kits for Ravnica came out 3 months ago. Longer than that, maybe. So I took the time to go through my cards, and I'll continue to do that throughout the summer. The spring now, that's coming, and then the summer. To go through my staples, or whatever you want to call them, better cards, and just pick from better and better selections. I've done a little bit of that for these cards, but I didn't go all the way. I know for a fact that I have a Grave Pact somewhere, and a Grave Pact would be great in this deck. So there are many possible commanders for this deck, and I think a Teysa Orzhov would be okay. And if somebody has a good build, let me know, because I thought this card was better. Yes, it comes in at a lower cost, but I think in Commander it doesn't really matter. Between 3 and 4, I think you begin to feel the heaviness of a Commander when you're hitting 5, 6 mana. I do not like the 3 white creatures to exile something, even though exiling a creature is pretty nice. I do like the black claws, the black creature claws. I have tested Teysa Karlov as a commander, but more as a constructed critter, and I love the double triggers. The double triggers are crazy, and I'm a huge fan of Blood Artist sort of decks. I built one before. I built many Blood Artist decks before Zula Board Cutthroat, and then after combined them. So another thing that I wanted to say in general, just to introduce the build or where I think I want to go, is that there are many directions, many aspects to this deck that can be explored. There's a prison component that you can put in with a lot of white enchantments. There's a black force discard that can also be emphasized. Then there's your typical white death and taxes thing of like you can only cast one creature, you can only do one thing, you cannot do that, things come on tap, these things come tapped. So I'm going to explore all that in this first video. I think there's going to be 2 videos. I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to go through and pick the absolute cards that have to be in there, and I'll take my time looking through the cards, which means that I may end up running out of time. Okay, so let me just get going. So the commander will be Teysa Karlov. I really like this clause. Creature dies, you get a double trigger. Then creature tokens you control have vigilance and lifelink. That's fantastic. Vigilance is really, really good. Lifelink a lot of times isn't, but in this deck it needs to be. So this specific pile of cards, minus the 3 planeswalkers, I think are cards that I know I want in the deck, period. So I might as well discuss them going in. All right, so there's Teysa Karlov, there's Teysa Orzhov, which of course I think the black creature clause is the one that I really like. Sure, at some point I may have 3 white tokens that I want to sack. I'm not sure. I think I want those tokens to get buffed and to go crazy and hit people. Just attack. So then the Ghost Council of Orzhov enters the battlefield. Target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. That's not that important. For 1, you can sack a creature. You can exile this card and return it again. Flicker it at the beginning of the next end step, so you can sack something else to protect this. It's a 4/4/4. It's all right. Opposite is fantastic. I played it some when I was in Standard. In the latter part of when it was in Standard, in the beginning it was a very expensive card, and me being a peasant, I didn't play it. Of course, Magic Online always. Enters the battlefield, target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. So it's a little better than 1/1. And then you can exile it for free. So it goes and comes back. It comes back with haste. So yeah, it's a nice way. It's got a nice evasion technique. Better than the old dude. Yeah. Then, of course, Merciless Eviction is fantastic. Choose one, exile all artifacts, or exile all creatures, or exile all enchantments, or all planeswalkers. I mean, this is a fantastic card. You want to be able sometimes to wipe out the entire board, including all your creatures, and if Blood Artist and or Sulapur Cutthroat, hopefully both, are on the board, you're going to, and Teysa, of course, you're going to get double triggers, and you're going to get a gazillion pink for 1, gain 1 life. So this card has dual use, because you can actually wipe out your own critters to win. Atheros is fantastic. It's indestructible. This deck, I'm going to make it with as much white-black as possible, and so it's going to have devotion. It's going to get the devotion, so this thing becomes a 3/5/4 indestructible. Whenever another creature you own dies, return it to the hand unless target opponent pays 3 life. What is not to like about that clause in a creature sacrifice deck? I love this guy. I have played the living daylights out of this card. Of course, it is way better in Constructed because you get a playset, but I think even in Commander it should be okay. I'm going to do some testing with it. Once I build this deck, I'm going to try to play something as close as possible to it online. I'm not going to have all the cards, but I also have some other cards online that I don't have on paper that are pretty good, like Grave Pact, which I know I have somewhere in this house, and I couldn't find it for the life of me. This guy is great because if you chump block with it and somebody wants to kill it, you may destroy target non-land permanent. That is fantastic. Definite in. Exile target non-land permanent for 4 and you lose 3 life. What is not to like about that card? This guy is fantastic. It is from the Guild Kit. Very few cards in this selection are actually from the Guild Kit. Just because, and the final build will have probably no more than 6 or 7 from the Guild Kit, just because I'm totally beefing it up. In my opinion, somebody can disagree, as always. Extort for everyone. That's it. Other creatures you control have extort. That is fantastic. With Teysa on the board, and yeah, it's just great. You just gotta have a lot of mana for it, but that's wonderful. Signets need no introduction. Okay, so that's our for sure. Then there's these 3 planeswalkers. I'll discuss this guy first. Until your next turn, creatures you control get +1/0 and gain lifelink. That ain't bad. For the -2, put a token 2/2 with flying, vampire with flying, and then the emblem. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, that player sacrifices a creature. I want this in. It's a 4-drop. That's not bad. The white flip walker from Origins. At the end of combat, if at least 2 other creatures attack this combat, exile this guy and bring him back. For 3, while it's still a creature, it gains indestructible, so it kind of protects itself. Then when you flip it, it becomes Gideon. Up to 1 target creature an opponent controls attacks Gideon during its controller's next turn if able. Yeah, until your next turn, target creature gains indestructible on top of that creature. That's not so bad. Then the 0, which is the one that you're always going to be using, frankly. I mean, the Gideon's, the 0 is the one that you want to use. It becomes a 4/4 human soldier creature with indestructible that's still a planeswalker and prevent all damage that will be dealt to him this turn. So that's good. Nice indestructible critter. Then Liliana, a heretical healer, has lifelink 2/3, not much. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, then you do the flip. And if you do, you put a 2/2 black zombie. Yeah, creature token. Nice. Then when you flip her, each player discards a card as a +2. That's really good. Then return target non-legendary creature card with CMC X from your graveyard to the battlefield. So it's a reanimator. So you're going to be sacking things, and this can help you reanimate them for not that much. And then the emblem, Whenever a creature dies, return it to the battlefield under your control at the beginning of the next end step. That's brutal in a sacrifice deck, so I want her. All right, so let's do a little count. You guys know that I love counting. The count that counts. 1, 2, 3. So we're already starting with 14 slots, pretty much locked in, especially the commander, of course. All right, so let's go through some of the cards that remain from the guild kit, and then Orzhov specific cards. And I'm gonna only pick things that I absolutely want to be in the build. That'll probably close out the video. Actually, I'm not gonna make it through because it's already 11 minutes. I should have checked the time. So, but in this video and the next, I'm gonna be doing that. And then the third video, it looks like, is the one where I'll actually do the final selections. I'm gonna not pick this. Same here, no. We're not on zombies. Now, Saga Creature Scry 1, that ain't that great. If a permanent you control left the battlefield this turn, create a token. It's an enchantment. I'll consider it. Other vampires you control get +1/+1. Great lord for vampires, but I don't think we're on vampires all the way. Sack another creature, and the aristocrat gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. That's pretty good protection. I'll keep it. This guy I'm gonna keep just to think about, because yeah, he's the guild mage from Return to Ravnica. I wasn't crazy about these guild mages, but for 3, target creature gains lifelink. For 3, whenever you gain life this turn, each opponent loses that much life. Now that can be a pretty good clause in commander, so I'm gonna give him a whirl. A life linker 2/1 with extort, not sure. Tap target creature with power 4 or greater. That can be very disruptive, and it's only going to cost you 2. For 5, deals 2 damage to target opponent or planeswalkers. Yeah, that's worth consideration. For 1, sack another creature, and this guy gains death touch and indestructible. Nah, I'll think about it. I tested Afterlife. I do not like it. I don't think it's that good. I can be wrong. I'm not a genius, but yeah, it leaves a token behind when you sack it. I'm gonna keep him in the. Yeah, we'll look at him again. Nope. I'm not sure how many enchantments I'm gonna have. I played this guy when it was in standard, and it sucks. 3/2 flyer, even though it has extort. Lifelink 3/3/1. I think from the guild kit. No. Sync Collector enters the battlefield. Target opponent reveals their hand. Yes. Haunt. Not that great. Something like Haunt was tried in the Dragon's Maze and it sucked. Get +1/+1. No. Enters the battlefield. Return target artifact or creature from your graveyard to your hand. That's not bad, but we're not going to go crazy on it. 3 tokens. Tokenizers are going to stay. This guy sucks. Yeah. This guy is great. I love this cycle. Auto include. Each opponent discards a card and you gain 3 life. What's not to like? We're not on knights, so I'm not sure it's gonna make it. I doubt I'm gonna come back to these piles, because I did go through a lot of cards to get to this point. Actually, I'm sitting here kind of chilling out, but to get to this point, I had to look through a lot of cards. No. From the guild kit, that's not going to do much. I played this guy in standards a couple times. He sucks. Yeah. Beginning of each end step, if you gain life this turn, create a 1/1. Yeah, I like it. Like it a lot. Tap it, pay 7 life, destroy something. Yeah, sure. Deals 2 damage to each opponent and you gain 2 life. It would have really sucked and constructed as a 5/3/3 flyer, but each opponent in Commander with a full table is actually pretty good. Yes, Hunt sucks. Enters the battlefield, the creature Hunt dies, but it does create 2 tokens. It's worth a second look. It's worth a second look. It creates it dies, creates a 1/1. Then it's got this token thing, and then you get the angel back. Yeah, it's worth a second look. This guy is not worth a second look as a 6/4/4. Enters about, and I went really fast, and I think I'm going to stop right here. This is a good point to stop. But yeah, I actually have played this card. It's just too slow. Probably even for Commander. I'll stop right here and get going in the second video.